Peace. Okay, back live. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can share my screen. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Perfect. Okay. Share my screen. Share my audio. Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone had a blessed Sunday. Um, you know, let me share my screen. Perfect. So, I was mentioning earlier that today I think what I love to talk and just what's been on my heart is taking a trip down memory lane. So we'll talk a little bit about the start of MyPraise App, um, kind of like when it started back in 2002, which is amazing to think about, and just all the blessings and development that God has delivered through us, delivered in us, and blessed us with. It really helped build my praise app, and it's something that I really hope others can also see as fruit in their life. Um, so we'll talk a little bit about how my praise app started. We'll talk then about how the some of the initial designs, as well as the initial POCs that powered my praise app. What's crazy is that some of these initial POCs were actually using ChatGPT. So we've been using vibe coding from the start, um, and the calling and prayer that I had a whole entire spiel that I was going to talk about today, but I think there's some announcements we'll talk about next week. But in essence, my church actually really did a really good job speaking about it this morning, where we won't go too deep into it, but yeah, some stats which were really eye opening in terms of um, the calling, but also kind of like where we are in America and where we are in the church today. So, with that being said, after that we'll dive into the code along. We'll do some rework around the new memory, or I'll actually say it's more of a revamp. Um, we're at this point where I feel like we can finalize the final design for some things. So we'll spend time revamping the new memory form. Um, we'll go through a few onboard enhancements. One of my close friends actually had some feedback that I'll look to incorporate on today's call. My wife always has great feedback, so we'll look at how we can implement these on the call today. Um, and then if we have some time, we'll uh, we'll look into some of the featured resources and inspiration. So with that being said, we just thank you, Lord, that today at church you said it perfectly that we have to have category 5 faith, especially in this new season. Now, when it comes to hurricanes and storms, we know that you'll deliver us through, Lord, but we're praying for strength and for boldness to be able to become the category 5 storm. We give you glory and praise. We look forward to seeing what you have in store for us this new week. And we pray for everyone who's watching this stream, everyone who's using this app. I dedicate each and every single download to you and to your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen. Now let's get after it. So, yeah. So I think, let's start with kind of, some of the stats, right? Some of the things that are pretty eye opening. I have a whole entire spiel where maybe I'll talk about it next week. But there's a resurgence of church in the community, especially within our generation. I'll say, the ones that grew up at the precipice of technology and the ones who are actually like growing up within technology. There's a big movement with the younger generation where they're seeking faith, right? They're seeking a close relationship, and they're seeing that the world is not that. They're not going to get that from the world. They're not going to get that from clubs. They're not going to get that from any kind of. Uh, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to update my stream. So let me actually get this. Probably gonna be a lot of people trying to get into this stream and say, "What's going on?" There it is. Let me call my friend actually. Okay. Let me just do a quick test, guys. I did about 3 trial runs and somehow missed the fact that I can't share my screen. It just causes havoc. But let's see. So I click this. Okay. Is this live? I think this is live. Yep. Okay. Perfect. There's 3 people watching. Hello, hello. All right. I think we're back in business. Sorry about that. Had to get the link updated. A little snafu. Let's see if it works. Need to make sure that all of the links are functioning as expected. Launch live. Perfect. Takes me here. Okay. That's right there. Perfect. Back to being live for the 4th time. But so here's what we're going to talk about. So yeah, there's a massive resurgence of faith and just people seeking something that's more real, that's more tangible, that's actually eternal, that isn't fleeting. That what we get in today's world. You can get all the fleeting pleasure that you can find, but sometimes, I won't even say sometimes, all the time, you realize that it leaves you empty. Um, so really, that's kind of what MyPraise App was inspired by, especially in my faith journey. But I thought today in church when we talked about what does faith even mean, my pastor brought up something called Category 5 faith, right? Um, where like you can be going through a storm, but also you can pray to be the storm. Um, because when it comes to faith, faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the sign that things are not seen are true. So that comes from Hebrews 11:1. Um, one of my favorite verses where it really challenges you on understanding not just what does faith mean, but also the heroes of faith, people in the Bible who actually, if you look at today's standards, you'll think that they're sinners, right? You'll think that Joseph, for example, was someone who was afraid, or Moses, he's someone who killed a man, right? And then he had to go through the whole entire wilderness to be able to come back redeemed. But throughout that time, God was still with him. Um, so that really resonated with me. Um, and like some of the facts that we heard today in church were like, 56 of Americans believe in God, but 44% of that 56% actually practice worship. Um, so, one of the things when it comes to the Bible, it even says like the fruit of your lips is your worship. Like the sacrifice of your lips is also your worship. And that's one of the things that I found has really blessed my life is just giving praise, even when it's hard, even when it's impossible to see that there's a future. There's some things that we're even going through now that we'll talk about in a couple of weeks that I'm just giving up to God, and I know that He's going to deliver us through. Because if He's done it in the past, He's going to do it again. And at the same time, if you're aligned with His will, and it's not even like a if as a you may fall a line misaligned. It's more just as long as you're trying to hear the word and seek His word, He's going to guide you. All right. So really, that number is a little sad to see that out of that 56, you would think 100% will worship, but it's actually 44% out of the 56 worship. Um, then it says 78% of the country believe that things are going to get worse when it comes to faith. Now that breaks my heart, because I know for a fact that I've been delivered through many things in life. I'm 33 years old. I could show you, the views of my house, but none of this I got with my own work. Nothing I got through my own hand and strength. Like, yes, I worked long. Yes, I worked hard. But I think the truth of the matter is that a lot of it came by favor. And that favor came by just trusting God and being willing to share my testimony. Um, so, seeing that 70% of the country believe that things are going to get worse, and then seeing that our generation and the generation below, um, we just feel like we're lost. Um, I do see that there's a resurgence in the church, but I think it's time that, how do we get intentional? So that's what MyPraise app is about, is to really answer that call. Um, because you believe in God, believe also in me. Like, that's what Jesus says. Um, it's one thing to say that you believe in God, like the 56%, but it's a different thing to say that it is Jesus Christ who I believe in, who is the risen King, and who's the one who is going to save us in the end, right? And has already saved us. Um, so, one funny analogy, I won't even say it's funny, but it's very pertinent, is you look at kind of how the youth is today, right? Like, they're willing to meet up anywhere. They can meet up at a Chick-fil-A. They can meet up at a Starbucks. They can meet up on the streets. They can meet up in front of a Congress office. They can meet up on the streets of New York after game 7. Um, but they don't go to church. Sometimes they do. Like, there is a remnant that's growing. But it's really like, how do we get the young mobs in their minds that know that they want to come together, but they don't know why, or unequipped. It says unequaled. Get this with, why do we come together? It's one thing to come together, and at a certain age, you realize that, like, yeah, coming together is not all about parties. Sometimes you want to come together and actually start building something, right? And without a foundation that's based on the truth, that's based on the word. Um, and there are other religions, but like, I do believe that the Bible is the truth. Um, just look at the history behind it, and when you realize that it's not just us who want to come together, but like our founders, right? They literally traveled by boat reading the Bible, right? And it's like, I feel like that's the reason why we want to come together, is really starting to build that community of faith, to be able to really start, handling the hurricanes of this world. So that was a funny comment that my pastor made at the end, where he says, "God is not just teaching us how to survive a category 5. He's equipping me to become the category 5." Um, Now, what most people don't know is, I played football throughout my life, and when I was in middle school, when I was in high school, actually boarding school, that was one of our nicknames. They called my brother and I the Hurricane Brothers. Um, so it's one of the things that stuck with me. So it's funny that they're talking about becoming a hurricane. Uh, Challenge accepted. Sounds like fun. Um, so this was just something that I really found that spoke to my heart. And the verse Hebrews 11:1, I think, is going to be something we're looking at throughout this week. And yeah, that's kind of the impetus behind MyPraise app, and the history behind it, and kind of the calling and the prayer, that came behind it as well. One thing that's good is I'm going to actually be sharing these notes. I'm working on the system that can help, kind of not just help me track what we talk about, but I want to actually give back as something that comes out of these discussions. So yeah, now let's take a trip down memory lane. So how did MyPraise app started? So MyPraise app actually started off as, if you know me, I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm sentimental per se. So it's funny, I'm making an app about praise and Thanksgiving, and documenting memories and journaling. Um, but it's something that I think my wife and her family really brought out. One of our early Christmas, you know, celebrations together as a family, um, that would actually bring out like a box filled with almost receipts. And I said, huh, that's a little strange. I love strange, but you have receipts, you have notes. This is great, but like, tell me more about it. And they said that, yeah, we do this every day. They just literally started reading it. They said we do this every day, or every Christmas, every Christmas and New Year's season, where we'll just kind of look back at the history of today, of this year. Like, they track, who was the president. They track what's the price of gas today. They track what's the index. They may track, like, who's outside, or what's the weather for Christmas. Just anything that was really on their heart, they put as part of their praise report. And I remember one year they put me as part of that, and that really left a mark on my heart because I think then was when we were really starting to get deep in the corporate world of corporate America, and really starting to see the challenges of the Category 5 storm. Right, um, it just kind of really humbled me, and I didn't expect to, you know, have people that would actually, log me as part of the praise report. So long story short, thank you, honey. Thank you, Sarah, for the inspiration behind MyPraise App. Your inspiration behind a lot of different things, but this truly started from that Christmas. Actually, it wasn't 2002. It may have been like maybe 2000. It was one of the first Christmases we had together. But yeah, from there, it was just like, how do we actually start thinking about, documenting it and making it easy, not just for me. I think it started off as just for me. Um, but then just started getting a call as I started getting more in church that I think people actually will like something like this. So, what did my Praise app even look like when it first started? So, anyone who knows me um, knows I love to do process flows. Uh, background in Deloitte, this is one of the first things that we do is, it's not real unless you can document it, and it's not documentable unless you can make it as a flow. So, that's one of the first things I did. I think I was literally in bed. It was New Year's morning, or maybe like a day before New Year's, and I just remember. I won't say I was panicking, but I would say that I definitely felt like, we had the praise report with Sarah's parents, but I also just felt like, you know, there was something that was missing. Like throughout this year, I had a stellar year at, I think at this point I was at Deloitte. I still had a stellar year at Deloitte. Um, I had, EEEs, which is at Deloitte speak for saying exceptional, exceptional, exceptional. But I still felt like, number one, like I'm not close to my friends. I'm been traveling. At this point, this was like right before, or actually, this was during COVID, but I still wasn't like really connected with friends afterwards. I just sacrificed all that time, trying to build my career, but I didn't really have any way to, number one, remember what happened that year, but also like I really felt like I was missing that connection. And at that point, like if you remember back in 2022, social media was extremely toxic. So I said, what can I think of as a way for me to not just track memories, but then eventually, how could I even share those, right? So this is actually how my Praise App started. I call it Praise App OG. In essence, this is what I wanted to capture. So I always tell people, if you want to make something cool, if you want to make something fun, don't just start building. Like you can go and start vibe coding all you want, but first understand like what am I trying to do, right? And the first thing that you want to get out of that is what am I even trying to capture? Um, every problem starts off with what do I need? So it's not even about like what is the problem. Sometimes like what do I need? So the first thing I said is like, okay, I want to capture a memory. So what is a memory? You then start thinking about the parts of a thing that can be used to categorize that thing, that can be used to attributize that thing. So that's usually in system speak, like when you start thinking about fields, right? Objects and fields. So I want to start off with something called a detail, right? Or memory. That's the object, and then the details are like the fields within that object, right? Um, and then you also have other objects like photos and medias, and then share. Something we'll talk about throughout that. But like one thing that's been, really eye opening, and I think God has really blessed us because even back then He knew that sharing was going to be something that was going to be complex and not just a line item, but actually its own feature. Um, so that was kind of like the early like thinking of what my praise app would be. Then I did some general linkage of how do these fields come together. And then it's funny to see that there's even praise report contact because that's something that we actually started using more. And then this was one of the early POCs, day one POC actually. As you can see, this is January 1st, 2023, um, and I actually did this. What was this? New Year's Eve dinner, end of 2022. All right. The praise says, blessed at the end of the year was Sarah and her parents. While the prime number was a 5 out of 10, the company was a 20 out of 10. get through in 2023 in peace and quiet. Looking forward to 2023. And that's a little picture of our cat who's still alive and kicking and loving the house. And then this is the second memory. Started and prepared for 2023. Started to be prepared for the week, month in 2023. Already blessed with multiple new opportunities for the year ahead. Completed the pre-alpha POC. Posted praise report output. And I don't know if I still have access to this album. I'll have to look into it. But it's kind of funny to see that even back then, God always knew that this is going to be something that was meant to be, I wouldn't say like a replacement, but just a way to capture not just a memory, but photos, um, contacts, dates, those kind of things. And then what you can see is even my checklist for the weekend was building the POC flow, object and field setup, apex exchange. What's really funny is this, because I don't know I want to say I'm the first person that ever did ChatGPT for coding, but if I'm seeing this, I literally did ChatGPT for coding for Apex December 31st, 2022. All right. And what's funny is I think shot where I said create Salesforce class and trigger to use latitude and longitude to integrate geolock, geoloc. I remember using this service back in the day to help capture geolocation on fields, and then given like some endpoint and then the longitude, latitude, and then it gave me a file. This was like before people knew how to really even do vibe coding. You can even see I took a screenshot of this same exact flow before just so I can keep track. Um, I had no idea when I was ever going to use this again, but I think God just has his hand over this app, and hopefully, the people who use it because He wants it to be in your hands, right? Um, so that's kind of how MyPraise App started. You can see it's even, you know, one of the things I wanted to really focus on was the architecture, storage, access, cost, DRM. Especially one of the things where I think I have a background in Salesforce, so I just kind of did something that was more used to me. But I knew that this was never going to be the system. It had to be more something that could be used by a user. And I'm starting to see like the cost behind Salesforce. It doesn't make any sense, right? So that's kind of why we then went fully custom. At first, it was Notion. We may do an expose on the Notion build one day, um, but now it's fully custom iOS, Swift on your phone, only available to you, right? Now, what's funny is that it says in the future I want to do Bible integration, message of the day, and encrypted fields, and we literally have that, right? It's encrypted because um, it's on Apple Silicon, so by default it has the secure enclave to protect all your memories. No one can hack you. The government can hack you. Mythos can, but Mythos can hack everything. And then it does have Bible integration, so yeah, that is it's kind of funny. I was preparing this. I said, "Wow, I think we are almost there, guys." So yeah, my Praise app is approved by Apple. I haven't released it yet. There's a few updates I see we're going to do in just a few minutes now. That's going to get us right over the finish line. And then, I do want to make it a little bit better timed with some stuff that's going to be coming up. So stay tuned and yeah, let's get started on coding. So today, what we want to do is we want to work on the new memory revamp. We want to touch upon the onboarding experience, maybe add some more personalization, and address some of the user feedback behind dream mode, onboarding messaging, and yeah, the personalization thing repeated twice. So remove this. Onboarding messaging comes from my friend, and dream mode optimizations comes from my wife, and then we're going to sprinkle in some things that we've heard from the community as well. All right. So with that being said, I think what's actually going to be fun is let's actually continue this exercise of going down memory lane. Because the way that I like to think is I want to first really understand where did we come from, right? So this is some of the workflows behind the design. This is a pretty large document. I kind of use this for just storyboarding and mapping out a flow. Because what we're trying to do is I want to show you guys MyPraise App 0.7. One day I'll do like a video of what MyPraise App could have been if I rushed the release. There was a time when we were going to just launch the app kind of like this. Thank God that he just kind of blessed us with patience, with the right time to just really focus on hopefully nailing the experience, making it more enjoyable to use. But what I wanted to show you is, as you can see, this new memory screen. I'll also bring up my screen now. Let's also show you MyPraise App. 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 Also show you MyPraise. Sorry, some feedback. Okay, so we got MyPraise App up. All right. Like the whole new one thing. Actually, let me go light mode. A lot of new things here, guys. So one thing was we now have a much more refined navigation bar. Before you'd have seen the little 3 side dots at the side. My wife, once again, has amazing ideas, and some of the new modern design technology and things that we're seeing in the market is like, yeah, let's move everything down to the bottom. So you kind of see that this is what the new nav bar looks like, where the middle is easy for you to create a memory. It goes out of your way when you swipe up, and then when you swipe down, it comes up. All right, as your home menu. So this is like your main gallery page. You can easily access your new reflection experience. We'll definitely discuss this coming up. It's going to be better documented in the how-to guides, but yeah, this is the new experience for how you log your reflections. Has easy access to your Bible, ability to log a new memory. We'll come back to this. Your Praise Assistant, easy access. Praise Assistant has also gone through dramatic UI updates as we refine for 1.0. We'll talk a lot more probably next week about the whole process of UI refinement and standard design language that it's not something that I focused on in the beginning of the app. As you can see, that's how it looked. In fact, what you'll see is this was the reflection mode. In essence, it was this kind of report. This is the reflection mode now. And actually, let me go to, let's go to this version. It was some of the old marketing. Here's the reflection mode. Okay, I'll find one of the old videos if needed. Long story short, old reflection mode was pretty much this. And other than new reflection mode. So it takes time. That's all. That's pretty much the moral of the story is, eventually things take time and they'll become like this where you have like a very refined experience. I'll give you guys a quick demo of what this looks like. And you kind of swipe right to keep memories in your reflection report. And you see the people that made this week special for me. You can log a quick message. Then you can see your reflection. And look, there's different UIs, different ways that you can see and visualize your week, your period, for your praise reflection report. And this was literally what that UI was. It was trying to create something like this. Now it's now something a little bit more refined. And yeah, we'll definitely look into that more. But yeah, today we'll kind of try to stay focused on the new memory. Where right now, if I was to go back to the device hub, so we went through the reflection mode. Here's the dream mode. So easy to get to dream mode. This was Sarah at VBS Vacation Bible School. This weekend, we were able to volunteer at a church. It was an amazing time. So that's the easy way to get there, and then the easy way to get to your profile, right? And the updated journey. So we'll definitely do an expose next week on how to refine AI. A lot of lessons learned this past couple weeks. Um, so yeah, we'll look into that. Now, the only thing that hasn't been refined is a new memory flow. All right. Now it's a little bit better than what you see over here. All right. And actually, let me see what it looks like when it's empty. So it's slightly better. I wouldn't even say it's a little better. I think it looks exactly the same. There's definitely a little bit more, like, I have the keyboard up in the final version or on pre 1.0. The tags are a little bit more integrated on the right. So the final version that's going out. Um, the heart icon, I've made it all under the same keyboard. So those are some of the lessons that I learned as part of just like some of the learnings from trying to get the UI to be more cohesive. Um, because you just want to kind of keep all functions within the same area. You want things to be easy to dismiss and show again. So you can see there's a dismiss icon for the keyboard. I added many more features, but as you can see on the left, the features are kind of all over the place. So they don't just create clutter, but they're almost a little too aggressive. I think what's on the right is a little bit more elegant, but it can be presented a little bit better. One of the things that I enhanced was, yep, you can see kind of the multi or the rich text menu. Makes it easy to know what kind of rich text is available. So you can do things like, you know, bold, headers, number, checkbox, links, etc. I have the notification or the location menu over here, the heart menu, and then I collapsed all of the add, like all the linking, all the adding of contacts, etc., into this plus menu, right? So all of that is like, that's taken 2 years of just trying to understand how to get UI a little bit more consistent. What you can see on the left is, how we started. So it's really not much different. So yeah, we are hopefully going to, resolve that today, um, and make the experience just a little bit more interactive and engaging. Very similar, like what we're thinking of, my wife and I, was maybe we can actually use something like the reflection mode. So if I was to go to my reflection mode, okay, here it is. Right, it's like it's very guided. You know, this is one of the things that we have is going to give you scripture. Um, there's an engine that kind of looks around and sees your theme, so you can choose that. I want to look at this week. I want to look at this day. I want to look at this month. Um, I want tonight. I feel like it's joyful. It's grateful. It's calm. It's reverent. So these will all kind of influence what the verse is going to be, right? There's a couple more Easter eggs in here that I'm looking forward to seeing if people can notice. But we're going to do joyful today, and it says breathe, take it in before you look back, right? Amen. It gives you some stats. You can swipe. So like all this is like super easy. It's engaging. One of my friends gave me feedback to actually make this a little bit more interactive. So maybe I'll look into that as part of the new memory flow today, because we can actually use that again, and you can kind of see how it asks for you to add your contacts, right? Um, so I like that a lot. And then that's when it gives you the ability to add some more details. Let's say this is great. So I'm typing here, guys, so you can see on my screen. Let's hit continue. Oh, some nice confetti. See your reflection and then save image. So I like that. That's nice. Um, Now, what if my praise new report could be something like this? All right, just very simple. Actually, there's another way that I can add a praise. So I click this. When I come down here, yep, I can log a new memory. I actually want to move that up. I need to move that up. That's I forgot about that one. But so I want to, I'm thinking about using some kind of UI like this, where that one kind of took you through the steps. So maybe we can reorganize it for this, where this page kind of starts with what are you thankful for, right? Is this a prayer? Prayer? Is this a prayer or praise? What are you thankful for? What's the title? And then start asking you for like, what is the photos that you want to log? So yeah, that's kind of the flow that we're thinking. Let me go back because now that we're aligned on kind of what we want, maybe this would be like kind of like the starting page. So I'm going to take a screenshot. Go to free form. Once again, guys, you always have to start with the flow. Okay. I'll choose this space over here. Okay, I don't want that. So I want something like this, right? Something that says like, maybe it's like, good morning, very similar to like the assistant mode, where it pops up, it gives you a nice greeting. Um, so it says good morning or time of day, or hello there. Yeah, do just show like the assistant even. Let's see, I could show the assistant. I'll think about that, and then it could say like today's date, right? Um, and it could say tonight I feel joyful, grateful, calm, reverent. How can we make these prayers or praises? Is that even necessary? I think I could keep it joyful, grateful, calm, reverent. And maybe I bucket joyful and grateful as praise, calm and reverent as prayer. Okay, 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 okay. Sure you guys what I'm looking at. I mean, I could one day use the colors, but that's a pretty big change. I don't think I'm going to do that today. Um, but yeah, we could definitely bucket joyful, grateful, calm, reverent into the two main memory types of prayer and praise. Okay, perfect. Um, Now what else? So that's how. So that'll kind of be like the new memory screen. So new memory. Good morning. Date. How do you feel? What would you like to log? Right. Um, and then someone then say log memory. Then from there, it can then give you maybe even like I love this, like showing the same kind of verse engine. Um, okay. Skip this. So let me take a screenshot of this actually. I really like the whole. Don't need that. Where is the screenshot? Okay, here it is. It was like the first screen is the new memory screen. The second screen is just you know, a light reflection. Then from there, how do we incorporate adding photos? I'll skip this for now. Okay. And it says give thanks to them. How do we add contacts? That's another thing. Stick a screenshot of this. Okay. What's cool is that I can modify like this. I can't add anything. Okay, it actually does say I can add. So I can add some recent contacts. I'm a merchant, my mom, and all these folks. This is great. So I do kind of like how it. I kind of like this screen. Maybe that's how I keep it. I keep it very simple. The new memory screen. So we gotta do something like this, right? Then I'd highly suggest everyone is be very comfortable with cropping. Makes it easier. Makes it easy to quickly make changes. Oops. Do something like this, right? I like that. I like that. I'm gonna do something like this. Okay, I actually like this a lot as well. And keeping that kind of chevron look, it's actually very beneficial. Okay. Do something like this. See what I'm saying? Ooh, that's nice. Okay, I like that. Okay, so it's like be still, boom, 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 title, content, memories, contacts. Okay, prayer. So memory, contacts, photos, huh? Maybe that's the yeah. So how do I do this? Oh God, I think I should have photos here to be honest, because that's gonna actually be used for driving rich text. Um, used for driving the uh, what's the word called? Not just the rich text, but links, live links, deep links. They need like a good anchor point before they get just directly inserted into the database. So I think I'm going to actually put that on this screen then, so that way everything is captured first, and then takes time to then complete. At which point, boom, it gives you the screen. Love it. Okay. I feel like this is actually good enough to really just get started. Um, I could do something like go to Mobbin and just kind of get some more inspiration. So I probably will actually just do that just to get some, excuse me, some best practice. So where is my ¿Dónde está? There it is. Mi arrow. Did they change like the apple? Like I don't know why I can't change the color of my pen. Okay, there it is. When it comes to flow design, I like to do something like bright and vibrant, especially when it comes to just navigation. Keeps my eyes, keeps it easy for the eyes to see. It's not a science, but whatever keeps you moving quickly. I always suggest do and get good and be consistent at it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually go to Mobbin. Let's do some research. Where is my stuff? My screen up here. Oh, my man Mo. Oh, there's an echo? Hopefully not. Okay. Awesome. Welcome. Let's see. Yeah, once again. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the stream. What was I doing again? I want to go to YouTube. I want to go into my freeform. Okay, I got this, and then mobbing. Yeah, I'm thirsty. I need to open up this beverage. Oh yeah, some ginger ale. All right, so now I want to see like a new memory. Let's see if there's anything called new memories. Okay. This is kind of what I'm looking at, what I'm doing. Mm. Okay. Kind of like it looks like there's like some kind of media section down here. So maybe I do something like that. I make it like a media section. Okay. It's interesting. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay. It's a little like too technical, very much like what I already have. I don't want that. I mean, this looks clean, but it's once again very much like what I already have. May not be the best use of time. Same kind of thing with this. So I want something that's definitely bold and I won't say unique, but functional. It needs to work for MyPraise App. I do like this. This is nice. Okay, let me see what this is. Saturn calendar. I don't like Saturn, but I do like this UI. Okay. Okay. I like this. Let's see what we can do. We'll come back to Claude because don't worry, Claude will be used. So it's like, okay. Well, let's see how that works. I also like this. This looks nice. Whisper flow. Yeah, I like this a lot too. But that doesn't look like a new memory form, so we'll come back to this. Excuse me. Oh, what's this? Hype list. Create and share list. Okay. 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 So they kind of have chips. I like that actually. You kind of they call this chips in modern design. Yeah, these kind of chips. It's very similar to what you see on MyPraise app or on MyPraise Assistant. So actually, maybe I can look into something like that. The MyPraise Assistant also uses chips to convey using tools. Okay, so they kind of have this, and that's in tag system. This is nice. I do have chips somewhere. What else is after this? So they come through here, and then they got kind of the app. Yeah. Okay. And when it comes to research, you want to time box it. You don't want to just research forever. Otherwise, you don't get anything done. And your app just then ends up looking like other apps. So I don't want to research forever. I do like this as well. Ooh, that's a journal mood tracker. Okay. I'll find one more piece of inspo after this. Let's see how this one looks. Okay. That's really nice. So you kind of see the chips actually there's still chips up here, but these are used more as functional buttons. It seems like I can imagine you click suggestions or launch something. I can imagine if you click scan, it'll launch your camera. If you click guided, it'll launch something. Um, but then this one is actually where you can then just directly take something. So one's to launch, one's to take. Okay. And then the content where you can write. So one's to launch, one's to write, one's to take. 3 sections. Um, okay. I like that. And these are all the different guided entry. I like this. This is a good feature enhancement. Okay, let me take this guy. Uh, so something like that. What else? Give it 5 more minutes to time box the research, and then we'll get started. So now what I want to say is, let's say New log. New post. I think that's a good one, new post. I've been thinking about something like this, but like that's once again very similar to what I already have. I mean, this one doesn't have to really worry about categorization, so it seems like it's simpler. But then as soon as you start adding categorization, that's when you then get into that section that I have today. Um, so I'm trying to avoid that. Um, Same thing with something like this. And everything looks, very similar, but you'll notice the same kind of sections, right? Header, tags, chips, save. But as soon as you add categorization, you don't have to do categorization, header, tabs. So it just becomes the same. And that's really what I want to avoid. And I really want to just see like what are like some ways they can do new post photos. Photos. And create. All right. Well, how do we do it? Let's see. Let's check Instagram. Instagram. I don't think I'm going to use any of it, but let's see. Okay. I may take that back. This is looking nice. We'll get some inspo from big sister IG. Kind of like Insta over how this one is representing like that photo. Because what I really like about the Insta one is just kind of like how it has like the photo thumbnails. Um, okay, but that usually comes after you select the photos because Instagram, when you click new, it doesn't just give you, yeah, you see, it actually has the photo first. Um, so that's not how MyPraise App is. MyPraise App is usually the photos last, or you add it after you've already created the report. Um, but I like how it's kind of like still open here. So maybe I put yep, there it is. Yeah, we know what I'm gonna do, guys. Let me go back to MyPraise App. Clear my screen again. One thing I forgot to do, guys, is I forgot to do what I was saying last week, which is also track which is to track where you started and where you're going. All right. So literally, this is where I started. I guess we did talk about it. We talked about the historical where did I start. This. So this is what happens when you do the @ symbol. Um, okay, let me take a screenshot. And then this is what you do when you see the rich text menu. And this is what you do when you want to see the additional content. All right. What else? So these are kind of the main things I need to keep track of. Okay. Now let's just do the final page when you click save. I can't save it because I don't have a title. You can kind of see the new memory has been generated. You can tag at the bottom. So I do like that experience, but yeah, we're going to try to make this a little bit more robust. And yeah, I don't like this icon. We're starting to come up with a new iconography. Hopefully, going to be able to get that into y'all's hands before the release, but yeah, more to come. Okay, perfect. So this is MyPraise App in a nutshell. So now what I'm saying is I want the new memory to kind of look like this with the placeholder for an image. Okay. That will replace this. So let me put this at the top. What we'll do, guys, we're going to do some live. Before we get into the code, we're going to just do some live templating. All right. So, because what I want to think of is not just like the basic stuff, but there's some things that really were painful when we created this form. That I just don't want to forget, and then end up you know making the experience poor. So that's the first piece. Is it's easy to forget, but without proper handling of keyboards, you're gonna have a bad time. Um, so you definitely want to have a way that you can handle keyboards and not just like let the system kind of handle it, but in a way that you want it to actually work. Because if you don't, then the system is actually going to really fight you in terms of making it seamless. Um, so that's one thing I want to just be particular about before I even start the code, because it's very hard to change it once you've started. So what I want to do is want to make sure that the keyboard is displayed. So this is kind of like, you can almost think that this is the baseline screen. Do this. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this. So what I'm doing, guys, is it's called storyboarded. This way you make sure that you don't have something random. I just want to make sure that the storyboard looks good, and that we can commit and feel like we don't waste time. So okay. Let's use the eyedropper. I'll use this. Let's see. I don't like the type, sir. Let's do something here. Okay, yeah, those are a few things I wanted to do, right? I wanted to actually. So, do we start off with this screen actually? Because I'm realizing this says, "What made you glad this week?" Maybe we just keep it simple. We say like, "What would you like to capture?" All right. I can even ask AI to give a few suggestions that's like boilerplate welcome messages based on time of day and things. I love time of day. Easy way to get some unique combinations, and also just make your app feel just a little bit more, what's the word called, intentional, as well as personalized. So yeah, we can say, what would you like to capture, right? Um, okay. And from here, we can then put this guy over meow, this guy over meow. Actually, no, I can just take this guy. What would you like to capture? I'm grateful for dot dot dot. And dot dot dot. And then some boilerplate suggestions over here, right? So that way, when you click the new memory button, it pops up. What are you grateful for? And then from there, you can then put in, and I want this to be the background that you selected, so it's a little bit more personal. Um, okay, this is going to take a little bit of time. Yeah, let's continue this. We got this. Where do I show the? Where do I show these guys? I definitely want this to be visible. Yeah, I show like that. Yeah. Okay. I like that. And kind of just keep it on top. All right. Boom, boom. Okay. And then if someone wanted to add images, that was the last thing I wanted to do is make a little image box. Oops. And I'm just gonna have like a plus, all right, just so you can show that it's meant to have something. So give me your memories and your prayers and your praises. Not me, but give God. So here it is. We'll now change the color. Just make it a little bit darker than the rest. Yep, this is perfect. So that way, I'm gonna give this a clock. They're gonna give me the good file. So it's like I got this. Okay. Now let's actually look at a real praise. I think it's better than getting real inspo. Okay, I love this. Okay. So how can I show this? Okay. Because I don't want to announce there yet, but we'll come back to that. All right, we'll do VBS. So you're gonna be famous today. So we're gonna use this photo. Okay. So it's like, let's say I just added this image to my Praise app. I'd want the image to be cropped somewhat so that it can fit kind of with the same dimensions as this, right? They call these thumbnails. So I want the thumbnail to kind of like be something like this, right? Of a perfectionist. I'll get this just right. Okay. There's a good. All right. Let's allow us to add more. Let's allow us to have multiple photos. Oops. I want this photo. So this is like how you can actually. I like that a lot. Let me bring this guy to the front. I'd rather have this kind of be my background photo. Oops. All right. And this like the new photo. So it's like as you add photos, it will just keep on cascading. But we need like a button that says add a photo. Hmm. Yeah, this is just where it's always a little bit. You think it's easy, and then you find out that there's these things that just can make it a lot more difficult. So let's say go for these guys. Okay. So something like this, and then but let's see. How am I going to text this to myself? Okay. For PBS and the opportunity to serve our church. All right, that's kind of what we did. It's like boom, boom. Okay. And then from there, you have your photos. All right. You have your memory, joyful, grateful. Let's say I chose grateful, that'll be highlighted. In the background, that becomes a praise and a prayer. Um, okay. I'm gonna have to find a way to get rid of this blue and green color at some point, but okay. So we got this. It says give thanks to them. So from there you can say add contacts. Maybe I'll do something similar. Or I can do this. And instead of this, it could use like a instead of this, you can use like the group menu, like something to show like contacts. Um, all right. Let me just do this. I'm going to say recent contacts over there and then a verse. Okay. Amen. Let's see how does MyPraise App handle the end of a reflection. So I kind of want to do the same kind of experience that I see on here, right? So I can say amen. You're going to see why I'm going to use that in a second. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just get this guy. So it looks a little bit like this. All right. I'll say amen. Your prayer is done. You can view the memory or you can click done. And then what I'll do is this should have like different affirmation messages, Um, okay. And then from there, maybe I just make this simple. I just put everything here, tags, everything. You can still have tags over here too. All right. So I think we have a plan. All right. So it's like I come over here. Last thing that I need a screenshot with the rich text editor. I have that over me. Okay, what will happen is if I click this plus. Oh, if I click this plus, it should just bring up this menu. I like that. Okay. I think that's the move. Okay. So there's about three states for the keyboard. All right. There's just your basic keyboard, your at keyboard, your mentioned keyboard, and then your there's actually one more keyboard mode, which is the command mode, and then your rich text mode. All right. So I want to make sure that whenever I click a chat area, the right keyboard displays. All right. And then same thing over here where if I click the plus button, I then want this I then want this John to pop up. The app menu. So you can add contacts, everything else, URLs. Um, and then you just kind of build your memory this way, and then okay. So what I want to do is I just want to make sure I get the slash menu. I guess what you can call the slash menu. Because what happens on Praise App is I'm not sure if you guys know, but if you actually click your slash, it's one of these ones here. Should be able to reference memories. Okay, so it looks like I don't have it. It's definitely on the GPT. So you can see you can click slash and then it brings up this tag in memory system. So I may just need to bring that over to MyPraise, the MyPraise app proper. Let's see, is there anything else on here? Okay, I think that's about it. Let me just take a screenshot of that so that's something to reference. Okay. think I may bring it. I think I might have to because I'm not getting any linked memories. So you got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. This is like last priority though. What time is it? 6:30. So we've been doing this for about an hour. Thank you guys for staying in there. We're going to be done very, very soon. No wonder it's a little confusing. I should be using my Obsidian. All right, we'll get we'll do that at some point. We'll figure this out. Get this a little bit more consistent. Okay. Okay. So we got it over here. We got it over here, then we got it over here, then we got it over there. I think this is it. Then we got this over here. What I'll say is now I'll start typing this up into requirements. This is all part of the code along, by the way. It's good to have requirements that you can tell your system. I may look into this in the future, but I think this is really all that we need, to be honest. I don't need all the extra pop-up fancy stuff right now. Maybe a future Praise App release. What I do want is I want to start setting up some borders for the prompt. Okay. If this is like your step one. This would be all too convoluted. So let me try to get these all to the same anchor point first. All right. Okay. So this looks a little bit more clean. So when you do flows, it's not about being perfect. It's about being clear. So yeah, I don't need all the lines to be like equal weight or anything. I just need to make sure that I can understand that this is the first thing I want to be done, is to revamp the actual UI and then to properly handle the keyboard. All right. So there's two sections here that I'm going to track. It's going to be the UI and then the sections. Just some number blocks. This is one of the things that I found was extremely successful in consulting and just general work. It's like being able to document and then being able to break apart your flows, right? Because if your flow is easy, then it's obviously something that probably doesn't need a flow. Someone's already done it. But if it's also too complex, then no one can understand it. So you need to find a balance. What I'm doing here, guys, is I'm just setting up my numbers. I'm going to use this in the future as well. So I'm just going to actually group these as like a template. As we'll do these go alongs, I'll talk more about templates and how it's always good to just, you never want to redo work. So as you just go through and you build stuff, just try to capture what you've done as repeatable templates. So that way you don't have to do it again. Um, so yeah, the first thing we'll talk about is this first screen where we want revamp the new memory screen to streamline and make the experience more engaging and refined. That's in essence what we're trying to do, right? We want to make this whole experience like a lot more refined and engaging, intriguing, right? So that's the first thing we'll do is to make that whole UI more refined and engaging. Um, the second thing that we want to do as part of like this first step is really also look at the keyboard for the UI. So what we can say is, I'm gonna do like this. So we'll say for this one, 2. Ensure the keyboard is properly handled and can be dismissed when not in use or the user dismisses. Because we've actually done a lot of work before on this one, I'm going to actually physically tell the prompt engine to make sure that it references some of the custom skills I've created for this, some of the custom technologies that I have to enable just to make sure that like things like keyboards and dismissals are always consistent, right? I want to say reference skills from Claude and Cursor to ensure that functionality inherits what's it called? Best practices. Ensure functionalities like the rich text editor and sub keyboard layouts, i.e. contacts, contact, slide, and dash
memories are also enabled and treated. Ensure location, functionality, and UI for updating. Okay. So yeah, some of this is floaty. Um, but in essence, what we can do is we can. These are the kind of things that unless you know like the exact words that you're looking for, I don't mind kind of the AI coming back with some suggestions. We'll ideate and see what makes the most sense. But yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit more collaborative. So let me come back to this. Move this guy up here. Close this guy down here and down here. Okay, so one, two. There's a third requirement. So I almost think that this is both three and four, where it's like the third requirement is um, after the initial screen. All right, after the initial screen, so after the initial screen and the new number. Oh, okay. So that's why it's a little confusing. What I'm gonna do is actually. So this is why it's good to storyboard because then you can start actually seeing your story come to life, but also you can see where there's some misunderstandings that the AI will most likely forget or also have misunderstandings on. Right. So for example, I said that I wanted this to be kind of just like the new memory screen, but that actually includes what happens after you've inputted all your different items, right? Um, so for example, new memory is not just about capturing the text; it's also about capturing the images, right? All the side stuff, or it's all the side elements that enrich your memory. That's a good way to put it. So I'll just move this down here, move this up here. Say that this is three. Images. Uh, So pretty much what I'm telling them, this one is very simple again as well. Um, and that's it, I just want to be able to make it a little bit more. It says casserole. That's not how I spell carol. All right. I'll make it just a little bit more engaging to add photos. Now I could go crazy and I could say like, give me a 3x6, plus button that I can do this. Nah, I'm just gonna say very simple. I just wanted to be a little bit more engaging. Here's what I've drawn. Here's what I've done a mock-up on. One, I'm gonna ask Cloud Design
to make this a lot better. But then two, I'm going to review it to make sure that it's right. All right. So it's like you got this, all within the first kind of one screen, and the final screen, confirmation screen. You can edit the contacts. You can add groups. So this is perfect. Upon next, show a pre-final screen where the user can adjust and enrich their memory further with additional contacts and media. All right, so we can do that there. What's key though is that I did want to have like a thread of of a prayer, so we can show this. So we can say is like enable a dynamic /scripture based on the mood and the screen. All right, so something similar. See what the AI does. Let's see how it comes up and interprets that. The final step is this, which is step 4. And for here, what we're saying is on the final page, show the final confirmation page, show an affirmation of amen or something is encouraging. Okay. What else? So we have this. So we then say enable the ability to view your memory or go back to make changes at this point. The memory and all items on the memory should. This is more for the system prompt. I am going to put this through Cloud Design, so hopefully it doesn't start hallucinating. Actually, let me just remove this. Actually, let me put it. It can't be that dumb. Hopefully, it's not. It's actually pretty good. Okay, that's number 4. All right, guys. So I think we have our design. Now what we do is we'll spin up Cloud Design. We'll start getting cooking. And as like the designs being finalized, we'll also look at some bug fixing. So how do I want to do this? Let me get these guys. I think I can probably just get the whole thing. If this is like a more complex flow, I would suggest like breaking apart your prompts to the design system. But it's kind of this is very similar to and we'll talk about my design system one at some point. But if you haven't used cloud design systems, you're missing out. This is extremely helpful. What I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do new chat. I want to say, first, let me do something. I always like to ask Claude to give me a prompt for a prompt. So I'm going to say, you know, uh, generate a prompt to revamp. And I'm going to actually do this in code. Ideally, the prompt can be used to generate a design system that is a functional prototype before implementation in Claude. And I am not going to use Fable 5 for this one. I'm going to use Opus. But you guys know it's a new month, so I have a new cursor. I have new cursor usage. I'm not going to burn it on this yet. I'm going to use Cloud Code itself. So it's not my favorite, but it does work. So let me just shoot this over. Okay, so this is working. Let's look at the agenda for today. Okay. So we have the prompt ready, or we have the mock-up. So let me just document my steps. So the first thing that we did was we did ideation, we did research, we did mock-up. Now we're going to do refined design system and prompt. Prompt. You kind of think of this as like the workflow of how do you create a new feature? Is you ideate, you research, you mock up, you refine in the design system, and then you generate a prompt. And now we're going to be on the onboarding enhancements. So we could talk about some of the user feedback, Dreamboard optimizations, onboarding message. Okay. So I think one thing that we may start with is this onboarding enhancement. It's kind of low-hanging fruit. Let's see how this is looking. If it has a prompt yet. Okay, it's still doing. So what we're going to say here is, what happens in onboarding, and what I'm thinking when it comes to this additional capability is, you can see kind of welcome back, like that's good. One thing that MyPraise App does really well is it'll look at, it knows who you are. I always say it knows who you are, but it's based on your memories. It's based on your profile. But the emojis and the glyph system, they may not be true to who you are, right? And I do think that also capturing this information may help with the assistant replies, especially when it comes to when it generates images and you have personalization on. So what I'd love to do is I'm thinking like maybe as part of the initial onboarding experience, There's going to be a question that can say like, "What is your race?" Right, or like, "Choose your emoji." Um, so that way, it's like a little less, on the nose of like, are you black, white, Asian, those kind of things, and it's more just like, what's your favorite emoji, and then from there we can extrapolate what's needed, and all the glyphs will be aligned to something that you resonate with, right? Um, so what we can say is, how do you identify male? What is your age? Okay. What is your birthday? How do you identify? We can say female, male. I prefer not to say. What is your race slash ethnicity? Okay. Okay, we can add that as well. I'm gonna put it right here. How do you identify? All right. I think that's question. Let's see. So if you ever want to see how you can rerun onboarding, just go to settings. What do we call you? Set up your profile. Skip for now. Tell about yourself. What is your range? Birthday. How do you identify? I can have it right here. All right. Um, so let's take a screenshot of this. Once again, guys, you always need a flow. And this one's very simple, but it's always good to just document what you need to do. How do you identify? And then we'll add one more question of like, what is your favorite emoji? I'm gonna go to Mobbin and see if there's any kind of like race picker. Um, I like this. Amazon shopping, something similar. Well, it's still kind of on the nose. I think one day we will get to that. We'll have more. Yeah, I don't want to promise too much, but there's things that I've been thinking of. What I'm going to do is just keep it simple. Um, let's see. So what happens in iOS and in general, right, is if you're doing like a chat, right, I can put in like a praise hand, but I can also do something like this, right? So you can kind of see the different hands. So what should I choose? We're gonna do the raise hands as kind of like the emoji of choice and say like, what's your what emoji do you resonate with? I'm just gonna have like a bar. Yeah, I think I can do that. Uh, See what I mean? Something like this. Easy peasy. I'll call it like, how do you identify male, female? How do you resonate? Let's see if there's any other things I could do on here. I mean, I could put it under here. Where it's like, what should we call you? What do you resonate with? Set up your profile. Or set up your people. Skip this about myself. Tell me your age. What is your birthday? How do you identify? What is your race? Uh, could put it. Yeah, I think it makes sense to keep it. How do you identify? I think that makes more sense.
Okay. Now what we can do is we can go to our design system again. This one doesn't need like any kind of special prompt. So what I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna move this guy. Actually, I don't really want this to like cross pollinate the other files, so I want to just actually create a new chat and say, using my praise design system, add a question for what do you, how do you resonate with a emojis? Uh, okay. So while this is cooking, let us see what Cursor came up with. What I asked Cursor? What I asked? I asked ChatGPT, or asked this guy. That's code. Okay. Now, I could read through this. Yeah, let's give it a quick read. So it says, build me a functional, clickable HTML prototype. Okay. Today, the new screen is long form shaped wall of fields. Okay. Yep. 3 beats capture and rich blessing. Amen. 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 That's exactly right. Guiding principle and priority order. One decision per screen. Correct. Reward don't demand. Absolutely. The canvas breathes with mood. Amen. Nothing is lost. Absolutely. Okay. Uses exactly. Joyful, grateful, calm, reverent. I like it. This is gonna be the only thing that's gonna be kind of weird. I may get rid of prayer and praises. We'll see. Okay. I like this. All right, perfect. Let me see. How does this plan also include things the tags and time? I'll just like the tags. Okay, so now it's actually going in and it's doing more of the coding or more of the prompting. One final thing that I wanted to see here is, okay, is checking that. Okay, I need to go to design. What should the answer actually control on the app? Yes. How does the user answer? Pick one emoji they resonate with most. Yep. Which emoji should be on offer? Yeah, it's about the skin tones. Yes, please. Where does this step sit? Based on the background from the design system. Making sure that it doesn't mess it up. Default to cream. Actually, let me just give it the actual glyph here. I'll say like that, just to. I think that's about it. Something simple. Let's see how code is doing over here. Uh, okay, so it did call it out. It said like it doesn't know how to do praise or prayer. So what I'm going to say is, um, as we talked about earlier, praise equals joyful. Prayer equals reverent. And what was the other one? Repentant. And we just go through this. Continue, continue. Okay. Calm. So put is equal to reverent and calm. Okay, this is done. Perfect. Mm, I think I like this one. This one's a little bit more subdued. So let me export this guy as a PNG. Okay. One thing that I realize as you start vibe coding is you need to be smart about your about which ones that you want to use first. So because I don't think I need Claude or Opus on this one, I'm going to just use Auto, and I'll use Cursor. That's going to give me the best bang for the buck. But since this already kind of exists, all I wanted to do was update this step to add a question for the emoji. So what I'm going to say is also here. One thing I've started to do is, and I'm going to maybe make a course one day on this, but you can literally start commenting in your design file to give you specific prompts and artifacts. I'll say provide prompt to enable this functionality. So I was going to do that. Now let's see what's going on with this prompt. I'm going to hear me say prompt a lot. And I'm a little scared of what this is going to do, but let's see what it says. I don't know why I had to regenerate the whole entire thing, but okay. Okay. Let's see what it says. Not step one. Okay, I think this is fine. Now let's copy this. Like, you spend your whole day trying to like min max, making sure that the prompt is exactly as you want it. But I don't times find that testing and just kind of letting the AI take a first pass, you save a lot more time, and then at the same time you burn a lot less tokens, right? Um, so let's see how this works. So we're just gonna ask it to come up with a plan. Let me even ask. Let me do one more thing. What I also like to ask the AI is ask me questions to confirm if the scope and expectations are understood by you, right? That way, it's not inferring, it's not assuming, it's going to actually ask you if it has what you need. So I have this. I think I already put this into my design system. Maybe not. Okay. Now I got to go back. Let's see if I have questions. That's the one thing I don't know if I have questions or not. Let's see. Woo! Hey, Sarah. Awesome. Okay, so on here, what I'm doing is this. Is I'm coming to this piece. All I'm gonna say is this, and then I'm gonna take this massive prompt, Um, I'm gonna copy this, but this is me all. Good, good. I already copied the lines there. Turn this into Fable. I don't need high. I'll do high. So I got this. What else did I want to do? Oh yeah, mock up. Just like that. You can tell something's done cooking. So now this is cooking. I have this prompt, my code, which is good. What I'll now do is I'm going to go to my cursor. So it's that thought ran this. Uh, Good, just found it. All right, perfect. Now this is cooking. But I think, guys, we're at this point where, like, pretty much this is going to be happening. Let me see what else we have to work on today. We talked about kind of the verses and the prayers. Um, one thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play some music. You guys can vibe with me.
Our Father, hear my voice when I don't have the words. Hollow every corner
Let's see what's going on.
of this tired, crowded heart. Let your name stay holy when my hands are shaking. Let your kingdom come down. Let your will be done on this earth in my home as it is above. Our Father, here with us, your kingdom come close. Our Father, lead us on, we want your will. Give us this day our bread, forgive us as we forgive. Our Father, here with us, your kingdom come close. When the dark comes near me, be my shelter, be my shield, keep my feet from wandering, keep my eyes on you. If I fall, restore me. If I stray, call me back. Let your kingdom come down. Let your will be done on this earth in my home as it is above. Our Father, here with us. Your kingdom come close. Our Father, lead us on.
So we got this.
We want your will. Give us this day our bread.
Perfect. So we got this. For some reason, not letting me actually use this prompt yet. So that's one thing I'm trying to figure out. What else I need? I need this again.
Yours is the power. Yours is the glory. Yours is the glory. Yours is forever. Amen. Amen. Lead us from the shadow into mercy, into light. forgive us as we forgive. Our Father, here with us, your kingdom come close.
Okay.
He came from the dust to standing tall. Small boy, big steps, he heard the call. Fingers in the fire, heart in the storm. Putting the ground, but he learned to fall. Lust for power, tried to
Where should it live in this
Sweet on the tongue,
project?
but he bred fear. He said, I go follow, I go obey. Even when I try to block the way. Every battle left a scar and sign. Every hard road made his will align. From the gutter to grace, from shame to praise. He kept on walking through 10 good days. One step then another, he held on tighter. When the flesh got loud, his soul got brighter. God is faithful. God is faithful. He delivers me. He delivers me. God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. He will do it again for all who believe. Yeah. He learned that strength ain't taking all. It's kneeling low when pride wants to stall. It's closing his eyes when the wrong feels sweet. And choosing the road that the holy feet lead. They said you want me.
This is why I love cloud design. You can really like it gives you. I'm like a real person that has that looks for ways to take shortcuts. This is really going like,
now every wound has a song in it. Every dark hour had dawn in it. He don't brag, he just give thanks. Hands up high with the warrior stand. One step then another, he held on tight. When the flesh got loud, his soul got brighter. God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful. He delivers me, he delivers me. God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful. He will do it again for all who believe. Yeah. So if you're fighting, don't give in. The same hand held him will hold you in. From hidden walls to open doors, he breaks the chains, he keeps the score. Baba faithful, his word no go fail. Through every valley we will prevail. What he started, he will complete.
Nothing. Deliver it all, please.
God is faithful.
Alright, so this will take some time, which is fine.
He delivers me. He delivers me. God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. He will do it again for all who believe. God is faithful. We rise, we stand, we sing for all who believe.
That's kind of crazy. I knew that it was 1B, not 1A. Well, I don't think they mentioned anything about that.
Born far from home, small frame, big test. Me and my family still we gave our best. No hand to hold, no easy road, just tiny shoes on the heavy road. They said you won't make it there. Cold eyes watching, empty stare. But we kept moving step by step. Through the nights when nobody left. Still he kept us. Still he led us. When the world said stop, stop, God said go. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. He brought me through the fire, from dust to crown. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. You finish what he started, from dust to crown. Every day out like rain on skin. Every can't got to pull me in.
Okay,
No
about 2 hours
compassion,
in.
just hard advice. But grace was moving in my life.
About
I
2 more
watched doors
hours.
swing open wide when I had nothing on my side. What they meant for shame and fear turned to a song when you drew near. Still he kept us. Still he led us. When the world said stop, God said go. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. You brought me through the fire from dust to crown. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful.
So now it actually has the plan ready for.
From dust to crown.
So now it has the plan ready for the onboarding questions. So gender step, okay, appearance customization, sentence manager, emoji tone. So in essence, it's created a new emoji and tone in the sentence manager. I believe they call this the um, the user defaults. I have a settings manager method. Um, oh yeah, there it is. So also saves it to iCloud and then adds it to widgets. Okay. Okay. Only thing that's not used for is I don't think it's okay. Maybe it is used because it's saying emoji tone dot current is not going to be equal to string tone handshake. Helps reflect greeting notification widgets. Got it. Um, okay, so that's kind of like the architecture. Okay, yeah, that's good. That was good to me. Sometimes all you gotta do is just look at the architecture, and if it makes sense, just trust it and do some testing. All right, we're here to vibe code, not to review code. Oh, this one's gonna take some time. So as this is going, let's see what's going on with cursor. This is going. This is cooking. Um, what else do we want to do today? We have more personalization added. Refined design system. Okay. Prompt. Got this. Got my prompt ready. Green mode optimizations. Onboarding messaging. Update buffer. Social templates. Okay. I'll come back to that probably next week. Um, and we will get to user feedback offline. And sometimes these new features do take some time, but that's always fun. So let's see what this looks like. Deep in thought. Let's see how much I've used of my credit already. Okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad. Cursor looking like, okay. This is working. And while this is cooking, we're going to go back to play some music.
He came from the dust to standing tall. Small boy, big steps, he heard the call. Fingers in the heart in the storm. Wanting the crown, but he learned to fall. Lust for power, tried to pull him in. Sweet on the tongue, but
I don't want to play music on, I'll play it on my JBL. First, let me. Must be a way that I can mute this because this is actually where all my sound comes out of. There must be a way I can mute this. Okay, doesn't look like there is. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop screen sharing. That way we can properly enjoy some of the Afro beats.
he said, I go follow.
What's going on?
Okay, it looks like I paired it from the Mac. So I'm gonna fix this. Okay, I'll plug this guy in. Let's try it like this. Okay.
Every battle left a scar inside. Every heart of made is full of life. From the gutter to grace, from shame to praise. We kept on walking through 10 good days. One step and another, we held on tight. When the flesh got loud, the soul got bright. God is faithful. God is faithful. He delivered me. He delivered me. God is faithful.
I think we're back in business.
He will do it again for all who believe. He learned our strength ain't taking all. It's kneeling low when pride wants to stall. It's closing his eyes when the wrong feels sweet. And choosing the road that the holy feet lead. They said you won't make it forward in time. But mercy kept writing a better line. He saw the trap, he saw the bait. And heaven showed up right on time. Now every wound has a song in it. Every dark hour had dawn in it. He don't brag, he just gives thanks. Hands up high with the warrior stand. One step in another, he held on tight. When the flesh got loud, his soul got pride. God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful. He delivered me, yeah. He delivered me, yeah. God is faithful, God is faithful, God is faithful.
USB-C.
He will do it again for all who believe. Yeah. So if you're fighting, don't give in. The same hand held him will hold you in. From hidden walls to open doors, he breaks the chains, he keeps the score. Baba faithful, his word no more fail. Through every valley we will prevail. What he started, he will complete.
Oh my goodness.
Victory is walking with steady feet. God is faithful. God is faithful. He delivers me.
All right, we're back in business, people.
God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. God is faithful. He will do it again for all who believe. God is faithful. God is faithful. We rise, we stand, we sing for all who believe.
Officially vibe coding. Let's see. Okay, so saying I can't find it because it's not in scope. Usually that means that the whenever you see that error, usually means that the file was added, but it hasn't been refreshed to your P list. So you just have to kind of restart Xcode. There's another way you can like brute force it, but brute force it, but it's not consistent. I just found that you close it and restart and then it starts working again.
Bonfire from home, small frame, big test. Me and my friends do we gave our best. No hand to hold, no easy road, just tiny shoes on the heavy road. They said you won't make it there. Cold eyes watching empty stare, but we kept moving step by step. Through the nights when nobody left, still he kept us. said, oh, God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. He brought me through the fire
From dust to crown. God is faithful. God is faithful.
to finish what He started. From dust to crown. Every doubt like rain on skin. Every can't try to pull me in. No compassion, just hard advice. But grace was moving in my life. I watched doors swing open wide when I had nothing on my side. But they meant for shame and fear turned to a song when you drew near. Still He kept us. Still He led us.
Close the wrong gap. Sorry, guys.
Doors swing open wide when I had nothing on my side. But they meant for shame and fear turned to a song when you drew near. Still He kept us. Still He led us. When the world said stop, stop, God said go. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. You brought me through the fire from dust to crown. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. You finish what He started from dust to crown. What the boy did.
All right, y'all. It looks like that's done cooking. What we'll try to do is we'll try to run a quick test using the simulator to see how the skin came along, the onboarding questions. So where is the simulator? Okay, here it is. Okay, launching an iPhone 17 Pro. Let's see how this is coming. You can see it's still actually taking a long time to complete the design system. So this is perfect. As that's going, we'll run through a quick test. Okay, time to relax. Thank you, friend. Let's rerun the onboarding experience. You know what we can do? Let me just delete the app and restart from there. Okay, I don't know why it's like skipped all this. I think it's because it's in testing mode or in simulator mode. So what I actually want to do is I want to demo this as a new user. Okay, so I come in, do this, put in my contact, share all. Okay, say my name is John Appleseed. John Appleseed. Okay, skip for now. Skip. Saying this old. Okay, nice. I do want it to be a little bit more elegant. So let me put that in there. Okay, pretty much the border and the section, like the image, like the screenshot provided. So pretty much what I'm asking is I'm saying like the border around the icon and the background is a bit jarring and too thick. Can the emojis be more consistent and the border slash section like the screenshot provided, right? What we want is we want it to be more like this, less like the whole what you see over here, where it's like each individual piece. We actually want it to be like one glass bar. We'll see how it does on this one because I think my prompt is a little bit too generic, but yeah, let's see what it comes up with. This should be quick to revert if it's not looking like we want. Okay, back to me.
You are the road for the ones who walk alone. You are seen, you are known. Every sky can testify, every day can glorify. What he did, he will do again for all who believe. Amen. God is faithful, faithful. God is faithful, faithful. He brought me through the fire, from dust to crown. God is faithful, faithful. God is morning birds were singing over red soil dust. Two hearts at the table, choosing fate.
Where are we at?
Little shoes by the doorway, tiny hands in a row. Mama held a promise. Papa said we go. No map, no money, just a word in their chest. Some called it foolish, but they chose their best. Step by step through the trembling night, they kept their eyes on heaven and walked toward.
All right, so as all of our meals are cooking, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do some more administrative stuff in the background, um, and yeah, we'll be here. We'll vibe, literally vibe code, and listen to music by DJ Ike Chuku. More to come on that.
God is faithful. God is faithful. He made a road right out of the trouble. God is faithful. God is faithful. He kept that family and he'll keep me too. Morning birds on the roof, mama ties her appetites. Papa folds the old map slow, says we go by faith tonight. No rich hand at the door, no soft word from the
There it
corner.
is.
Just the dust in their throats and the dreams spoken loud. They said, turn back now, they say you won't last. But hope for their shoes and mercy held fast. One step, then another on a road full of fear. Still the child in our belly said, God is here. Take us over, take us over. God, take us over. We're still standing here. Take us over, take us over. When the night gets cold, you bring us through the fear. From one shore.
Okay, so we did get some user feedback around Dream Mode. In essence, one person is would like to make Dream Mode a little bit more. What's the word called? A little easier to understand what it means. Excuse me. So all we can say is, we kind of have Dream Mode and Wake Up right next to each other, right? A little jarring. We have the customized menu, which kind of lets you customize, what you see on the screen, which is perfect. We have the image, the stay awake icon, okay, and the inspire me button. I think this actually looks pretty clean. Only thing that we need though is maybe we say like exit or go home, return home. So we can say dream mode. What if we just replace this to say return home? And we can then add this button to say like change background. I like that. Return home, change background. The change background will be the inspire me button. Perfect. And then that way on the bottom here we can then have just the um, we can then have just the keep awake. And I actually kind of want to expand this so you can see the full thing like this, and take a photo, which can just be right in the middle. I don't think that needs an image. Um, okay, because you click this actually, then it shows more things. I think that's the move. Okay, let's do that. All right, so what I'm going to do here, guys, is pretty much always got to start with your always got to start with your you know the storyboard that we just discussed earlier. But now what I want to do is I want to say oh, you don't need a constraint proportions for me, because what I want to do is I want to do this. So you got dream mode, change background. So this is done. So let's see what's going on. Okay. So now it's got this. All right. Let me go to freeform. I put in my text. It says change background. Okay, let's keep it as change background. We'll call this from dream mode to return home. I just keep it simple. Home and background. I hate like two words, especially for these quick actions. It just gets too verbose. So we got that there. And then what we'll do is we'll remove this here. We'll move this to the middle. And we'll then say is keep awake, right? So we say home, background awake. Let's clone this one more time just so we can get the camera icon, camera glyph as they call it. And actually, I'm very sketched out that they're going to just lose this. I'm going to do this a few times. Save this. It's always easy to do this hard work now versus paying the price later and realizing that you wish that you'd have told the AI to actually do what you wanted versus letting the AI do what it thinks you want. Never actually what you then want. I want this to say stay awake. Okay. And final one is home. So this one can just be the home icon. I think this is it. Nice and clean. See the design system. Okay, what's bizarre is I don't see my design system. I don't see the new memory flow here. Let me check the web. Quad design. What a very bizarre name. Yeah, so there is stuff in here. I hate when Claude does this. Sometimes it just stops working for Claude Design. All right, so it looks like this is pretty much ready. Okay, very nice, very nice. Maybe that's what it took so long because it was actually making this a fully clickable prototype. Let's see how much usage I used. Okay, only use about half, so it's not too bad. Yeah, I actually didn't use that much. I was expecting I was going to use a lot more. So let's see. Let tonight let it feel joyful, calm, grateful, reverent. Like it. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's nice. Okay. It's even captured the flow elements. Perfect. That's also add a contact group. Sarah, Marcus, choir group. Okay. Done. Nice. So it's the link to memory. So it's to choose from photos. Okay. I love it. Next. Okay, so I did show the contacts. Love it. Oh, this is so nice. Oh man. I think this is like a one shot kind of deal, guys. This looking good. Okay. If I close, I can't go back. Okay, that makes sense. I like this. Oh, it has the picker. Oh, I like this a lot. Oh, I like this a lot. Okay. So I'm doing at. So if let's do at, nice. I do dash mems, very good. Styles panel, oh, fantastic. Quick actions, okay, love it. And then, yeah, yeah, yeah. Looks good. Okay, okay. This is this is really. I don't know what to do right here. So what should I do? I think this is done. All right. Bundle. Okay. So the one thing I want to say is I do want to bundle and generate the prompt to implement this in cursor. Um, uh, with keen intention on regression testing, regression, and ensuring that all functionality works if there is a chance of a loss or degradation functions, ask the prompt provider for clarification or alternatives. All right. All right, so as this is cooking, we now have a good UI for the revamp of the home screen. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to now revamp this home screen. Let me go to my cursor. I'll continue using cursor. What I'm going to say is on in dream mode, revamp the buttons and layout so that there's less clutter for the users. Ensure that the iconography is maintained when moving buttons around. Um, Best question to always ask me questions to confirm the scope and expectations are understood by you. All right. Making sure this doesn't do anything crazy. For this one, I will use Opus just to make sure that it doesn't accidentally touch a random file or doesn't waste too many cycles telling me that it can't do something. Perfect. This is ready. Almost 3 hours. This has been a very long stream, but we're nearly there. Where did I put the request? I'm going to use Claude for this because I do have a lot of credits available in Claude. So I'll have 50% of my usage. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to go to Fable 5. What else? I want to use this link. So share to my workspace. Oh, this should be actually code. Okay. Let's use Fable up on this guy. I saw a different toggle down here. It was this enable fast mode. Got it. Okay. There it is. Oh, well, no. Let me do one thing first. Let me also actually. So what I can do is let me. I've never really like done this kind of thing before, but I'm very interested. Let me see if I can just share this. This has everything that I need. Okay. If I send this to Claude, okay, what I can do actually is let me go back to this. Oh, I rejected it anyways. That's not bad. Okay. Let me come to here, share. More formats, Claude code, local agent. Mhm. Awesome. Well, it looks like this worked. It's going to do the design sync, so that's perfect. Fable 5 high. This should hopefully get it one shot at least in terms of the main requirements. So as this is working, let me check what cursor is doing over here. The target mockup I made. Build this layout, including those labels and renames. Okay. All right, perfect. So pretty much what it's saying is it's you know, it doesn't have any of these buttons yet. So I've told it to, that's the target mockup I made. Build this layout, including those labels and renames. How aggressive should declutter be? In essence, I don't mind if it does the automatic immersive auto hide, where the Chrome fades after a few idle seconds. Tap anywhere to bring it back. Okay, I like that. And then which surfaces are in scope for this revamp? So that's landscape control rail 2. So that means that's going to also handle the landscape mode. So we're going to try to one shot that guy as well. Um, Perfect. Now let's see where we are with the Cloud agent. Okay, so this guy's still working. Down, there's gonna be a minute. Top right background pill. What should it do today? That slot is for wake up. It is inspire. It is inspired. Renamed and move. Okay. Fade all Chrome about after 4 seconds idle. Tap anywhere. Okay. Almost the longest stream I've ever had. Let's see how long is the longest stream I've ever had. I'm gonna show how long I did the live stream for. Okay, no worries. Let me see. Coming to that at some point. All right, let's play some more music, guys.
Morning birds were singing over at sodas. Two hearts at the table, choosing faith over fear. Little shoes by the doorway, tiny hands in a row. Mama held a promise, Papa said we go. No, no money, just a word in their chest. Some called it foolish, but they chose their best. Step by step through the trembling night, they kept their eyes on heaven and walked toward the light. God is faithful, God is faithful. He made a road right out of the trouble. God is faithful, God is faithful. He kept that family and he'll keep me too. You let go shoulders, hard looks at the door. Empty hands, long days, and still they pray for more. Every doubt came heavy, every voice had turned. But they fed that call and waited for the turn. No help, no pain, just the weight of the test. Still they stood together, did their very best. Step by step through the trembling night, they kept their eyes on heaven and walked toward the light. Hey, God is faithful, God is faithful. He made a one shore to another, from the fair to the song. What he starts in a heart, he will carry on. If you're standing in the valley, hold on. Oh, the same God who delivered is still strong. God is faithful. God is faithful. Oh, he made a road right out of the trouble. God is faithful. God is faithful. Oh, he kept that family and he'll keep me too. God is faithful. He still delivers all who believe. Concrete walls felt solid, but I built them alone. Carrying the weight, carving my name in the stone.
This is one of my favorite songs right here.
30 years in the furnace, turning iron to rust. Learn the hard way, in the marrow of the dust. That pride is a fever, burns the house to the ground. When the silence gets heavy and the peace can't be found. But the wind shifts, now I'm standing in the gale. If the architect is for me, tell me how can I fail? The foundation is deeper than the trenches I dug. Found a hand in the darkness, gave a firm, steady tug. Everything I'm breathing, every step on the path, the faithfulness covers the map of the aftermath. I walk through the valley where the shadows grow tall.
You know, I'm not even sure how long it's just been on my face. When did I stop sharing the screen? Oh my goodness. Who knows? Okay.
Watch the empires crumble, watch the false idols fall. It's not just a feeling, it's a promise engraved in the history of struggles, in the lives that were saved through the grit, in the grind, through the loss and the gain. In the harvest, the faithful, in the pour, in the rain, with the wind shifts. Now I'm standing in the gap. If the architect is for me, tell me how can I fail? The foundation is deeper than the trenches I dug. Found a hand in the darkness, gave a firm, steady tug. Everything I'm breathing, every step on the path, the faithfulness covers the map of the aftermath. Still breathing, still standing, still standing, still standing. It's not my strength, it's the hand I'm holding. Just a man realizing who holds the world. Faithful, every single step. I met you by the fence line, red mud on your boots. You laughed like morning sun, cut clean through the dust. You had that calm in your eyes, like you already knew.
I was looking there, like, what's going on?
From running back to truth, and I was half a man
With a half-built plan.
It was to take my hand. If God says we can, build us up, Lord. Build us up strong. When my feet get weak, you carry us on. Deeper the faith, it's in your hands. You make a home out of this man. So So I laid down my pride by the old church door. Learn to speak with grace and love like before. I quit chasing my name, started learning your need. Every stubborn root in me got pulled by the sea. And I was half a man with a half-built plan. And you said, take my hand. If God says we can, build us up, Lord. Build us up strong. Build us up, Lord. When my feet get weak, you carry us on.
The leap of faith. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. It disappears after. So what happens is now dream mode disappears. All the icons disappear after 4 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gone. Look at that. Then it reappears when you click it or when you interact with it, and everything else works. Wow. Okay. So you get back into dream mode by clicking your new nav bar, and then boom, you're in. Let's try this on my actual device. You guys have seen it there. We'll go back to jamming.
This on the railroad high, on our white day, we stood in that promise and we gave it away. No fancy words, just a sacred yes with a ring and a prayer and a holy yes. Build us up, Lord. Build us up strong. Build us up, Lord. When my feet get weak, you carry us on. Leap of faith, hearts in your hand. Hearts in your hand. You make a home out of this man. Build us up, Lord.
Build us up strong.
Build us up, Lord. Say yes to faith, and you made us one. You packed the truck with the front porch dream. You tied your hair and said it's got to mean a safer road, steadier flame, a small town prayer with a new last name.
We'll build up time for hands, a band of our time with a little man.
But something holy won't stay still. When heaven speaks, it bends our will.
We keep on talking through the night,
Trying to hold on, trying to get it right.
say what
All right, y'all. As you can see, we've done a lot of good work. So what I like to do is I like to just, when I complete one feature, I run through my standard cleanup script, and that's pretty much going to document pretty much what we learned. We'll document and push it to Notion. We'll generate some diagrams, things that you're going to see when I eventually do a course on how to build with AI. Until then, you're going to have to trust that it works. And while this is happening, I'm going to prop my next screen, which is going to be when stay awake is active, the phone still goes to sleep when ideally it doesn't, based on the clock set by the user. This is just probably going to make like 1,000, like 20,000, 23,000 changes, not including the destructive changes. So actually,
probably close to like 35, 30,000 changes. Okay, so now it looks like I actually did add a new file. So let me. Looks like it's doing something. So let me not close it yet. Okay.
Our place. I say, what if we miss his grace? His hands,
It's in his hands.
our claim ain't strong, but
It's in his hands. Perfect peace. Perfect peace.
he's the one who believes.
He'll keep you and me.
You sing your doubts into the room. I hear your heart, I hear the truth. Two different visions, one the same Lord. One open door, one faithful cause. We don't know where the road will bend, but unity is where it begins. If He can lead us through the storm, He can bless.
Okay, let's read what happened here. So pretty much, so house, background, dice, inspire canvas, greeting stays visible, ambiance. So this is showing the portrait chrome layout. Okay. So top bar, greeting label, ambiance, focal stays visible, fadable chrome, which is the stay awake timer, previous shuffle, next, XYZ transient, okay. Camera centered, customize, okay. Auto hide mechanism. So visible, auto 4 seconds, tap anywhere, okay. Very cool. Background versus content nav, background dice. Okay. So once stay awake is icon is on. When should the phone fall asleep relative to your timer settings? I don't know this question, so I'm going to say sleep after the awake timer is complete. Uh, that's kind of. I think that was the. I guess the question. It's saying when it's done with the dream mode, what should happen? I prompted it that I wanted it to, go to sleep based on the phone, but it still had a little confusion on when does it actually go home. Um, so I just gave that clarification that when your sleep is done, then go back to your natural, like stay on dream mode until you click home, but also let the system sleep mode also take effect.
So we'll see what happens here. All right, okay. Let's see if this actually did what I did. Will the system uh, how much more? Wow, this is still going. 23 minutes. How much am I using to just use? 76%. But everything resets on Monday, so that should be fine. I designed the system auto lock idle timer suppress until that dream session ends. While all of these are true. Dream mode is on. Keep sleep. Okay. I think that this looks good now. Pretty much just saying that it's not going to run because it's going to be polling to see if it's going to be in dream mode or not. And then once you're off dream mode and you click awake, that's when it's going to, probably run. So I may need to fix that in the future, but for now, I think that looks good. What are we going to do here? So now we got this running. We got this cooking. What's going on with cursor? Still working. Oh my goodness.
We're moving toward. We keep on talking through the night, trying to hold on, trying to get it right. You say, what if we lose our place? I say, what if we miss His grace? In His hand, it's in His hand. Our plan ain't strong, but it's in His hand.
Perfect peace.
Perfect peace. He keeps the ones who believe. He'll keep you and me. If the map runs out, we won't fall apart. He wrote the road before the start. Even when our voices shake, He is steady, He makes a way. In His hand, it's in His hand. We take this step, 'cause it's in His hand. Perfect peace. Perfect peace. He keeps the ones who believe. He'll keep you in His hand. It's in His hand. Protected, blessed by His mighty hand.
I don't know if you guys like the music.
moment of truth. As you can see, Claude is now going to try to run this. Now building to validate the whole flow scaffold compiles. Let's see. I'm thinking maybe I failed. Okay, it says it can't read the project. I don't know what that is, but I hope it didn't delete all my stuff. That's why I did push the Git right before this happened. So too many stories of Cloud just doing stupid things. But it's all good. Okay, so the flows weren't registered to the PBJX file. Okay, nice. So what actually happened over here is was looking at my new tone fix, but it must have added this as part of the enhancement for new memory, since that also includes a bunch of glyphs and new emojis that are going into the system. Um, so pretty much working two different systems, two different AIs, but working on the same file causes some, minor inconvenience. I think this should be able to fix it pretty quickly. Yeah, it fixed it. It should be fixed now. I should be able to even build this myself. Okay, never mind.
I look back in mercy. Every scar turned testimony. Yeah. Every step you kept me, even when I couldn't see. Names on my lips like fire. Yahweh, Jesus, Jehovah, Almighty, my Father. Prince of Peace, you hold my story. And if I fall, you lift me. If I drift, you find me. Your hand has never left me. You were riding long before me. In the end, God is Yahweh. God is Yahweh. Yahweh. Jesus, Jehovah Almighty. My Father, Son, peace of peace. In the end, God is Yahweh. God is Yahweh. Yahweh. You write the page, you the promise. My whole life seems unmade. I can look back with faith now. See the doors you open somehow. What that got delay was mercy. What that got lost was teaching me. Every one of us is glory. Every breath another glory. You are moving through the broken, turning into a witness. And if I fall, you lift me. If I drift, you find me. Your hand has never left me. You were riding long before me. In the end, that is Yahweh. Oh, that is Yahweh. Yahweh. Jesus, Jehovah Almighty. My Father, Son, peace of peace. In the end, that is Yahweh. Oh, that is Yahweh. Yahweh. You write the page, you keep the promise. My whole life sings your name. All powerful, over all things. You are good in every season. Bless the story in my hands now. But the
the end, God is Yahweh. God is Yahweh. Jesus Jehovah Almighty. My Father's Son, Prince of Peace. In the end, God is Yahweh. God is Yahweh. You write the page, you keep the promise. My whole life sings your name.
Okay. All right, y'all. I think we're gonna have to call that a night. This is still cooking. 33 minutes so far. I'll keep this up running. I'll be back, after I think about what I want to eat for some dinner. But thank you all for joining my praise app. Code along once again. Thank you so much for your support, for everything that everyone who joins these streams, everyone who's downloaded the app. I'm only doing this because I feel not just the support, but I hope it's something that can help you guys also get closer to God. That would be my dream. Like, I don't care about the fruit of myself. I just hope that one person answers this call through this app. So, thank you for entertaining me. Thank you for being available and be code along. You will see the fruits of this labor. I think I may actually end the stream just because it's going kind of long. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining again, and hope you have a blessed Monday. Have a blessed week. Take care.